it keeps screwing me with my laptop, so I have to do it on my phone, and I'm getting tired of it. Yes, I am getting tired of it. So, anyways. So Wednesday night, here it is, Randy's Guitar Attic doing the live stream on this Wednesday. And we will see what happens here. I know YouTube still probably shows that we have a live stream scheduled on our stuff. And let's see here if we still have that. If so, we will. Yeah, that still shows that one. It's crazy, guys. How you doing tonight, guys? Good to see you. So we got a couple people in here. We'll put our spectacles on so we can actually see what's going on in the chat on this Wednesday. So yeah, I don't know what's going on. If you went on the other channel, you probably saw that it's just not happening. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea. Driving me nuts. Driving me nuts that YouTube just keeps on not letting me use delete forever on that other one. I'm going to get rid of that. Sorry, guys. All right, so Wednesday night, and we'll wait for a few more people to get in here, and we'll start talking about some stuff for the night. And so, anyways, yeah, Wednesday night. You know what time that is? It's time for Randy's Guitar Attic on this day of September the 10th. Yes, and back on the old Kemper as always for our live streams, and tonight we're playing the beautiful 1986 Paul Reed Smith. So for all your gear nerds out there that want to know what Randy is playing tonight. So, and thank you for the thumbs up. So now we're starting to get some people in here. Good. Got a few more people came in, and we'll start talking about some cool stuff today. Got a couple things happening. What happened? Terry, how are you? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Terry's becoming a regular here, all the way from beautiful Palm Coast. But anyways, the what happened 25 years ago today? Something, actually, I'll talk about this really quick. And I actually picked this topic up. I didn't know. I picked this topic up from another YouTuber that does a cruise channel. I watched this guy, Tony, on La Lido Loca. And he's always talking, he knows a lot about music. So he's always interacting his music taste into his cruise vlogs. And he let me know this band released an album 25 years ago on this day that changed my life and probably changed a lot of other people's lives. And there are hints in my room that you guys can see of what band this is that changed my life, made me kind of made me want to play music professionally for the rest of my life. It really had that much of an impact on me. And I had played guitar. I was playing guitar, and you know, prior to this, I was like, you know, figuring out stuff like "Carry On, Wayward Son" and trying to think of some of the other stuff. "Summertime Blues" by Blue Cheer, and you know, just stuff like that. But this band came out, and I went, whoa, what is this? Steph, what's happening? And I heard this album. Actually, I saw them prior to that. I guess I got to take it back a little further because I did see them prior to that, and it really started there. And that's kind of where I really kind of just started going, God, I want to do this. But this album really influenced me to really, really take it across to the other side. And that album was Kiss Alive 1. Kiss Alive 1 was released 25 years ago today, or 50 years ago, not 25, 25, no, 50 years ago. 50 years ago today, that album. I was a kid when I saw them the first time. I was just a little kid. My brother took me to see, well, I had to go with him. So everybody has that brother, or not everybody has that brother, but brother, sister, or, maybe you don't, that actually has to take you along for the ride. Because if you don't, your mom's going to kill you. I posted this, people buying. Yeah, I'll talk about that in a little bit, Dan. I will talk about that. But, my brother had to take me to go see ZZ Top down in, I think it was Fort Lauderdale or somewhere like that. See, even Terry. So we went down and saw Kiss, and it was down south. I like I said, I was a kid, and we went down and saw ZZ Top. Well, this band by the name of Kiss opened up for them. And, when you're a little kid and you see a guy coming out spitting blood and blowing fire or whatever the heck they were doing back then. I know they blew fire. I don't think he spit blood back then, but I know they blew fire. And they were just jumping all over the place. And they were like bigger than life characters. And I just went, whoa, what is this? And at that point, I really wasn't buying records all that much. It wasn't something that, I didn't have money. I was a little kid. But as I got a little older, which is only a couple years, actually, I think I saw them on the Hotter Than Hell tour. It might have been Hotter Than Hell. It could have been Dressed to Kill, but I think it was Hotter Than Hell. And saw them and just, whoa. And then Kiss Alive came out. And sure, we all know what happened with Kiss Alive. Yeah, that song Rock and Roll All Night came out, and everybody and their brother all of a sudden knew who Kiss was. Wow. The James Gang and Blue Oyster Cult. It's funny that Kiss, opened for a lot of strange bands, but I mean, back then, who could Kiss open for? Really, I mean, who else was in that type of genre? I mean, we do know one. Alice Cooper would have been a great fit. My mouth is super dry tonight. So, Alice Cooper would have been a great fit for Kiss. But no, they went out with bands like, like ZZ Top. They were out with Blue Oyster Cult, James Gang. I wonder what Joe Walsh thought of them back then. Like, what the hell was that? But that band changed my whole direction of life. Tommy Bolin was James. Okay, so Tommy Bolin was playing with them at that point, but I know Joe Walsh did play with them at one point. So I don't, Tommy Bolin, God rest his soul, great player as well. So anyway, but what do you think Tommy said? What the hell is that? Why are you guys putting on makeup? You imagine being backstage and walking by a dressing room and going, why is that guy putting on all that makeup? What the hell are those things they're wearing? And just going, they're going to open up for us. How do you follow that? I just don't understand. How do you follow Kiss? It would be a band that you just can't follow. I don't care who you are. Maybe Alice Cooper back then could. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Out on the street for a living. So yeah. So I think about that. It's like 50 years ago today, that album came out and really changed my life. I said, I want to be a rock star. I want to be like Ace Frehley. I'm going to get some silver in my face and do my hair all silver and stuff like that. So, yeah. Thank you, Kiss, for being a band. Do appreciate it very much. And other things. Steph, you sent me this today. Steph's, he sent me a thing about George Lynch having his own club of sort that you can send in. I actually read this or kind of watched this little video he sent me. I was on my walk. I usually walk at least a mile a night. Try to walk a couple miles, maybe 3. But you know, I only had a little bit of time to do a mile tonight, so I did a mile. And out of my mile walk, I pulled up the video of George Lynch's guys club. And if you join the club, you get a free ESP LTD guitar signed by him. You get t-shirt, you get a one-on-one meet and greet with him, and I think a 45-minute sit-down session with him. You and a friend, I think it was. So that's pretty cool. You know, George is doing something like that. I couldn't see like Howie Mandel doing that though. And if you know who Howie Mandel is, and you know his whole thing about people, you probably wouldn't see him doing a one-on-one with people for 45 minutes. Because of his condition, doesn't like to be around people. So, but George, George is one of those guys that I don't think George is going to do it in an elevator or a stairwell or something like that, because he doesn't like to be he's claustrophobic. He doesn't like to be confined into small spaces. So I don't think it's going to happen in a closet either. But that's pretty neat. I mean, is it a money grab though? That's what I wonder. Is this just a money grab for George because George is getting up in age and looking to try to get a little extra money in his life because things are so expensive out in Phoenix? I don't know. I mean, I know my nephew would probably do it. Sometimes I wonder, Lynch has a collection of miniature hedgehog skulls. Really? I didn't know that. He is out in Phoenix, so, things are different out in Phoenix. So, anyways. We can assume so. Yes, we can assume so. Yeah, we can think about it. Is it a money grab? I don't know. I mean, it's a rock star, or was a rock star. I don't know. If you're a rock star, are you always a rock star? Because, I mean, it should be an ESP. It should be, but it's not going to be, because we all know what an ESP costs nowadays. A lot. Nice guitar. What's not money grab at this age and stuff? Yeah. Yeah, but like I was saying, I mean, if you're a rock star at one point, are you always a rock star? 5K is not that much. Depends on who you are. 5K could be a lot of money. But I say, the reason I say that, if you're a rock star, are you always a rock star? Because I have met a lot of, here's P90 guitar, that'd be cool. I have met a lot of former rock stars. No, it wears off. You're a rock star only in a very prime of your career. Okay, thank you for saying that. I kind of agree with that too, because, I mean, I have met like Tommy James. And if you know who Tommy James is, Tommy James had a lot of big hits in the 60s. And Tommy actually played with us and stuff at this one gig I did. And he was actually managing a car wash at the time. And I met him in the car wash, and at that time I was kind of traveling around doing stuff, and I took the car through to get washed, and he came out and said, "Hey, you look like a musician." And I said, "Yeah, I am. I play all around, Central Florida and up into Georgia and stuff like that." And, or actually not Central Florida, all over Florida and Central Georgia and stuff, either way. Anyways, he said, "Well, that's cool. You probably know who I am." And I said, "Who are you?" And he goes, "Have you ever heard the song Mony Mony?" And I said, "Yeah, I actually sing it in the band I'm in." And he went, "Really?" And I went, "Yeah." He goes, "Wow, that's really cool." And he was like, "Well, I'm Tommy James." I went, "Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, man, I love your stuff." And I said, "I don't sing it like you. I sing it more like Billy Idol." He's like, kind of laughed about that. But he goes, "So where are you playing now?" I said, "Actually, we're playing this club down the street." And he said, "Oh, cool. I'd love to come sit in." So he did. Some cats still pull. I lost that. Let me look at that real quick. I do feel, however, some cats still pull 90%. Yeah, well, there are some guys like, yeah, Steven Tyler, and those guys still are actively playing major stuff. They're still rock stars. But for like people like Lynch or I don't know, some of the other bands that are only playing like smaller places, maybe a club, like Enough's Enough, playing a club or something like that. These guys were up here at one point, and now they're down here, and are they rock stars? I mean, heck, I was playing big places at one time too. So am I considered a rock star? No. I'm just an ordinary Joe talking to you on YouTube. And I own a guitar shop. So Dan asked about the guitar collection stuff, asking, when did guitars become collectible? And you talk about how people that you didn't know, people that had a lot of guitars only had like one or two. This actually has been going along for a long time. There have always been people that have major collections of guitars. I mean, for many years. Since the 60s, there have been people that we may not have all known them, but there are people that have been collecting guitars for many years. And it comes up, basically to money. Some of these people had a lot of money and they chose to collect guitars. Now people collect guitars not just because they play them. Some of them just collect them as art. I had a guy come in the shop, I think it was yesterday, and he was telling me that he didn't play guitar, but he wanted to come in the shop and see what I had that was cheap and affordable. And I said, what do you need it for? He goes, I like to display them in my house. I just hang them along the walls. Okay. So there are people that just collect them as art. Now there are people that collect them as collections. I mean, it's like me. I've been collecting guitars since I was a kid. I can't say that little, but I was probably, when I started collecting, I was probably 14. I was 14 years old, had one guitar, then I got two guitars, then three guitars. By the time I turned, I think it was 15, I had discovered that Pure, that's private stock. Hangs on the wall mostly too. This one, no. This is not a private stock. This is an old 86. So to me, this is more precious than a private stock. But I was like 15, and Orlando Sports Stadium was a great venue for trip bands in the 70s. Lakeland Civic Center, both of those were great places to see concerts. Absolutely. I saw Van Halen for the first time at Lakeland Civic Center with Journey. I saw The Who, Orlando Sports Stadium, with the B-52s and Joan Jett. I saw the Police there, so many other shows. But now I'm getting railroaded off my train of thought. I was 15 years old, so I think I was 15 or 16 years old. I started really collecting guitars. I figured out what I would do. I just wanted guitars. I just wanted to get them. And I didn't really hold on to them as much until I was probably 16 or 17, I think it was. What is that? I don't remember. I didn't get to see that. Get that back up. Sorry, I'm touching the screen here, guys. Okay, here we go. An old 86, how much rather we have that over private stock? I think these guitars, I think they're probably $4,000 maybe, I don't know, 3,500, $4,000, something like that. Private stock costs a lot more money if you get a private stock. But this here, this particular one, Paul made. There was really not really much of a factory then. It was pretty much Paul, maybe one or two other guys. But pretty much Paul made this guitar. And that's what's cool about it. It's a Paul guitar. It's not done by 20 different people down an assembly line. Even private stock still has a few people touching those guitars. So that's why I like the older ones a lot better. I think they're just a little bit more personalized. But that's my opinion. And I actually kind of think a lot of these sound better just because of this little switch. They got this little sweet switch. So I collect guitars, so they're very limited niche for sure. You saw mostly broadcaster. Cool. I love the old guitars. I love old broadcaster stuff. I actually had one of Greg Allman's old broadcasters I got from him many years ago. That was pretty cool. That was an interesting deal. But yeah, so yeah, I like these old guitars. But anyways, so what else do I have? I had something else on my plate here I was going to talk about, but I don't remember now. My mind is a terrible thing. There's something I was going to tell you about last week. What happened last week? I can't remember. Something at my gig. I know one thing I do want to talk about. We have some pretty cool, exciting news that we hope is going to happen. We think it's going to happen. We talked about we're going to do a live stream from Universal Studios, Halloween Horror Nights. We're going to do that. We're going to do that one Wednesday. I think it's going to be a couple weeks. We have to wait to our other friend that we're going to have somebody join us on the live stream one night, on that night out there. We're going to have him join us. And he's another YouTuber that you guys watch. I'm sure many of you watch him. If you don't, you should. And after I announce what's going to happen, not now, because we got to make sure. We talked about it today, and he said, yeah, I'm in. But he has to leave the country, and then he's going to come back. And then after he comes back, we're gonna do this thing, and we're gonna go out to Universal will do this live stream together. I told him we were doing it from Universal. I don't know if he understands that we're going to do it from Halloween Horror Nights, and he's not a big Halloween Horror Nights guy. But I hope he he still will do it. I'm sure he will. I tell him we'll find a safe place to go. What is my take on digital amps? Well, that's a great question, and I'm a good person to ask that because that is a Kemper Profile. That's what we're playing through tonight here in the studio. When I'm playing live, I use a Quad Cortex, a Neural DSP Quad Cortex. That is my rig when I play live. I no longer carry an amp with me. I was tempted though. I took in a mini Rectifier 25, and I was tempted to take that out and play it this past weekend. I just want to see what it sounds like. It's small, and it would be easy to carry around. But then I was like thinking, well, then I got to build a pedal board for it. I'm like, no, never mind. I'll just stick with the Quad Cortex. And my opinion is they're great. The Quad Cortex, in my opinion, is the best one of the bunch. It's the one that has the least amount of learning curve to figure it all out and stuff. Touch screen, do whatever with it. I know the Line 6 is coming out with a new Helix. They keep saying it's coming out. They're doing pre-orders for it. It hasn't been released yet, but that's coming out soon. It's supposed to be the Quad Cortex killer. There's always something going to kill something else. It's like when the Quad Cortex, it was the Kemper killer. It was. I have to say, I love my Kemper, but there are several things with the Kemper that I don't like. One is the fact that it sounds great full volume. But as soon as I do this little volume trick down here and turn the volume down, I get this weird compression thing, and it's not cleaning up the way it should. The Quad Cortex, when I clean that thing up, it sounds great. King Center, Melbourne. I saw Billy Idol there. Nice too. I'm a believer. Love it. Sounds. I hate this thing. Guys, I have been trying to get on the laptop to do this stuff recently, and for some odd reason, YouTube does not like me going and using the laptop. So I have to keep using my phone. Don't worry about breaking delicate circuits. Yeah, from the old amps, absolutely. Yeah, I don't, before I had before I had the Kemper, I was using Ignator Mod 50, which is, if you don't know anything about those, great amp, really good amp. Are you going to Mount Doro this weekend? Why would I go to Mount Doro? That is the other thing I have to talk about. This weekend we will be in Melbourne at the Space Coast Guitar Show. That's right. The Space Coast Guitar Show is this Sunday from 10 a.m. till 8 p.m. First time they've done this. I have heard there are quite a few dealers that are going to be there, and there are some good dealers that are going to be there. If I'm not mistaken, the Guitar Broker will be there. Craig will be there. He's one of the guys. I know Rodney Highsmith will be there. Rick Bajenji out of Tampa is going to be there. I will be there. I will not be there with a booth, but I will be there walking around filming content for this channel at the show this Sunday. And I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good show. I will actually, I'm playing in Melbourne on Friday night. I'll be at Lou's Blues, and I'll probably promote it at the show, telling everybody, that, you know, our show, telling them to go to the guitar show on Sunday. So, here, Fender Tonemaster Deluxe Reverb. I like the attenuation. Okay, yeah, those are good amps. I know I have had a few of those, and we actually did a comparison to one of those to an old Deluxe. If you look through my shorts, I have a comparison of the two together. I get more flack over that whole thing. People are like, oh my God. Does it sound like the original? No, it does not sound like the original. Does it sound good? Yes, it does sound good. So I'll leave it at that. That's all I'm going to say. It sounds good. Does it sound like the original? No. JF, I play. What do you play? Anyways, so yeah, there's several digital type amps out there that sound great. Actually, the Tonemaster, I use a Tonemaster cabinet with my Quad Cortex. Not on every gig, but a lot of gigs. Like, I'm probably gonna have to start using them a lot. Using a lot now, because we just got a new drummer for our band, The Occasional Astronauts. This guy Sean Cody. It's a beast. Great drummer, really good drummer. Really, I'm excited to where our band's going to go now with him playing drums, because he's a great player. So, Stratocaster with a whammy bar. I have one of those somewhere around here. I don't know where it's. I got a couple of them. Good guitars though. So, yeah, so as I said, I talked about we've got the guitar show coming up this Sunday. So if you're thinking about going to Mountain Door, you may want to make the trip to over there. It is priceless. It's priceless to me. So, and also next month, if you really like guitar shows, there is another one in the state of Florida as well. Opinion on auto-tune vocals. You really want that opinion? If you can't sing it, don't sing it. You realize there's all kinds of live musicians that go out and play every week, and none of us use auto-tuned anything. And I totally get the Pro Tools thing. I'll talk about this real quick. I totally get the Pro Tools thing. I understand it. It's great. You have all the functions that you can, you know, do the typical studio, but auto-tuning and quantizing, all this stuff, it's good for one thing. It's good for the engineer, because he doesn't have to sit there and take 40 takes of somebody just trying to sing one little part of their song and get it exactly the way they want them to sing it. Because that's what used to happen. I remember when we did our album. Hey, Bender, can you sing that again? Why? Didn't like it. Was it in pitch? Yeah, it was in pitch, but we didn't like it. Can you do it again? Yeah, sure. Or me. Randy, can you do that again? Here, just play a whole nother solo. Okay. Okay, that's good. That's good enough. Come back the other day, or actually weeks. Come back in a few weeks, listen to the final take and go, I don't remember playing that. I did play it, but I didn't play it in that actual sequence. Because here's another thing with Pro Tools or Logic or whatever. It's very easy to go, I don't like this part. I'm going to move it over here. I'm going to take this part, move it over here. I'm going to do this and that, boom, boom, with a mouse. It's easy to do. Back when I recorded our album, engineers back then, they didn't like something and wanted to move something. They had a little thing called a razor blade, and they took the tape and they marked where, you know, when they ran through the reel, ran through, and they stuck a little marker where that stop was, where they didn't like something. And they took the razor, cut it. Then they went to the end where they marked it again, marked that, pulled that out. Then they spliced the two together. Then they took that part and they cut it in the end of that and stuck that part where they wanted it. Could you imagine how long it took them to do some of those albums? I mean, our album took 1.5 years to do. Can you imagine how long it would take some of these guys that were super picky, like Hotel California or Led Zeppelin's, you know, first couple albums, or even you know, the album I can't remember, Led Zeppelin 4. Imagine that album and them cutting that and just going through all the, you know, figuring out what they wanted and moving stuff around with a razor blade. Where now you go, nah, yeah, we'll drag that here, we'll put this here. Oh yeah, let's try it. Sounds great, perfect. You know, or, I don't like that, delete. You know, it's like, oh, they didn't sing that right. Here, let's just raise that bend up a little bit. I can't remember where. Yeah. But, I mean, it's crazy how things have changed. And what's even crazier is the AI thing, is how the AI thing is actually kind of doing its own thing now and making things even worse. Maybe worse, maybe better. I don't know. You judge. Some of my favorite videos on YouTube right now are banned country songs. Look them up. Banned country songs. If you're not easily offended. Now, if you're offended by stuff, don't look it up. But if you're open-minded to whatever and you're not offended, banned country songs on YouTube are a hoot. They're funny as hell. I've watched probably I don't know, 15, 20 of these stupid songs. They're they're AI created. Some of them sound like Loretta Lynn, some of them sound like Dolly Parton. And you just listen to them and you go, or Tammy Wynette, I think one of the other ones. You listen to them and you go, oh my God, that is hilarious. And you know, somebody actually went to ChatGPT and said, write me a song that should be banned in the 1970s. ChatGPT comes out. A minute later, got it. Then they go to Soma and they go, I need a girl singer that sounds like she is Dolly Parton, and I need her to sing a country song with these lyrics. Paste them in, pop, 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 pop. You got a song. 10 minutes later. That's it. You're done. And you look at them, you go, let me A-B this one with this one. You go, I don't like that first one, but I'll take the second one. Done. That's how easy it is to write music now and how easy it is to record stuff right now. And it's only going to get worse. Trust me. I say worse because it is worse, because being a musician, you should be scared. You should be scared that your talent is not going to be needed anymore. I'm just lucky that I'm on the other side of my career. I've got a few more years left of me. But I'm happy that it's happening now and not when I was in my 20s or 30s. Because you're just looking at, Spotify, and you're going, man, that song doesn't sound like it's real. It's not. It's a computer imitating what you should be sounding like. And that's what's scary about it. I have a Toby Keith tribute. Any of those good? What? A Toby Keith tribute. Is that a guitar? I don't even know what that is. Did they make a Toby Keith tribute? Did that one escape by me? So let me know. I don't know. And who made it? If it's a Toby Keith tribute, who made the guitar? So I don't know. That's something I don't know. There's several guitars out there that escape me. If they don't walk in the shop, I don't usually see. I don't know. Or if I'm seeing a guitar show, I don't see them out there. Guitar show, I can't remember where. The guitar show, Steph, you can go to the show. It's this weekend in Melbourne. Ugali Civic Center is where it's at. Ugali Civic Center in Melbourne. So, yeah, and they did. Some guys who made, same guys that made Stratocaster. Fender made this guitar? I don't even remember it. Don't remember it at all. No, I've never seen it. And would it be worth anything? Because probably it's Toby Keith played acoustic guitars, so I would say if it's one of a Toby Keith acoustic guitar, it's probably not worth anything. Just because those guitars would have been made in China or Indonesia. It's funny. Some of us dealers were talking the other day. We have we're part of a vintage guitar mafia. A bunch of us dealers have this group together, and we're going to take over the world of guitars. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know, but I'm part of this group. And one of the guys actually came up and they said, do we think that Chinese guitars will ever be worth collecting? I think people collect Chinese guitars right now. I know they do because I went to a house that had probably 45 of them. Also, what's my favorite band? My favorite band of all time is Kiss. But do I think that they will ever be worth anything and be collectible? I can only say one brand that might be, and that would be Eastman. Eastman is a guitar company, and Ketma is another one, but Ketma has not caught on yet. I'm actually a Ketma dealer. Great guitars, but they haven't caught on the way that Eastman, they have their own factory. They make just guitars for them. They don't make guitars for anybody else. Did you know Gene Simmons cleans all white? Yes, I did know that. Yeah, rock and roll all night. So Eastman is probably one guitar that possibly down the line could end up being kind of collectible, just because the quality of the guitar is so superior to really anything Chinese. They're really good guitars. And I will say that about Ketma, on their Elite series, the Elite series is very, very good. It's very, very good. But Eastman does make electric guitars and acoustic guitars. So that's where I think they kind of have that appeal to a lot of people, where you can see them with, somebody in a collection. One of the best. Yes, exactly. And speaking of Gene Simmons and stuff being clean and stuff like that, thank you, Gene. Him and Ted Nugent were big influences on me of being a clean person my whole life. No drugs, no drinks, no nothing. So, and thank you, CM Punk. Somebody will get the CM Punk thing. But anyways, and I know I bring up the wrestling thing, and usually somebody chimes in with the 25 wrestling questions. But anyways, so I don't know. We talked about the Eastman guitars being of Chinese guitars that I think will be collectible. Yes, those might be, and I would love to see some other ones become collectible. I don't think they will though. Do you know any websites I could get a cheaper Gibson SG at? I mean, what do you mean a cheaper SG? What are you talking about, a $300 SG? Are you talking about a $500 SG? An $800 SG? That's very subjected to somebody's price range. I have to kind of know a little bit more about what's cheap and what's not, because an SG standard nowadays is around $1,200. An SG special is anywhere between $5 and $8. Lower than $500. No clue. Not a clue. Unless you want an Epiphone. Epiphone is going to be your friend. And Epiphone actually, with their their new, they're actually using the Gibson headstocks now, if you didn't know that. So those are kind of cool. I'm glad that they actually went back to the way they were years ago. Gibson actually went back to using the Gibson headstocks on the Epiphones. They did that back in the 70s and 60s. So, wah wah, does the body good. Also, I'll share this really quick with you guys. I went to my doctor this week, and doctor said, "Man, you look great." And I was like, this kid looked at me and he was like, look, I had physical and stuff. This kid from India looked at me and he was like, "How old are you?" I told him my age, and he looked at my chart and he's going, "Are you sure?" And I went, "Yeah." He's going, "You don't look that old." I went, "I am." He goes, "I know you are, but that's crazy." And he asked me some of the things I actually do, and I'll tell you guys real quick. I don't have a favorite guitarist. Sorry. I actually take apple cider vinegar every day, and I encourage you to do the same. Get it in a pill form. If you hate the taste as much as I do, because apple cider vinegar, even the smell, I want to puke. But in the pill forms they're good. You take it, it'll help a lot of things. I used to have acid reflux really, really bad. I mean, every night I was popping Tums and Pepsis and stuff. Start taking this stuff, man, it works great. Do you think most collectors of guitars from the 650s even, I hate this thing. I really hate it. I hate you, YouTube, for doing this to me. Even listen to them before they buy. Yeah, I do. I think they do listen to them. Already, mine personally is Chuck Berry and Kurt Hammett. I'm not a big Kurt Hammett fan. Would love to surf with the guy, hang out with him. Not a big fan of his playing. Take away the wah-wah pedal, please. I just think I think Kurt I think he bends his notes they're sharp or flat all the time, and it just kind of irritates me. I just don't hear a lot of feeling in him. It's just nonsense to me. Fair. Thank you. That's just my opinion. I will say this about Metallica. Metallica influenced a lot of people. A lot of guitar players got into guitar because of Metallica, and I thank them for that. Japanese the only, but American is best. Yeah. Everybody has an opinion on guitars. I'm just putting that out there. Everybody has their own opinion. So I bought a 65 SG Junior for $500 a couple years ago from an order. Yeah, the deals are out there. Deals are out there. Randy Rhoads was an influence of everybody. Randy Rhoads was a great player. Absolutely. Although I always tell this story, and you guys, some of you guys who watch the channel know this. Who was the only guitar player I walked out on? Randy Rhoads. I left Ozzy's show, and it was so bad. It was terrible. And it really had nothing to do with Randy or the band. It was the sound company screwed those guys so bad. It sounded so bad. I could not take it. It was horrible. I had to leave. I said, I'm done. This band sounds like crap. I gotta go. So I walked out on Randy Rhoads. And I don't feel bad about it. That sounded bad. I'm sorry. And I've stayed through Austin Mahone's concert. That's by far the worst concert I've ever seen was Austin Mahone. And people are like, who's Austin Mahone? You can look him up. He's horrible. Worst concert ever. But I stayed through the whole thing. Well, maybe it's because I had an 8-year-old daughter that went to go see him. And daddy does everything for his daughter, doesn't he? So, anyways, we only got about 10 minutes left in the show here. If you guys got questions or stuff, let me know. I don't think it's, since you mentioned the blame is on the sound company. I don't know. It was all on the blame. It was all the sound company. No, the band was fine. I just couldn't understand anything that was happening. It was loud, distorted, and it just made no sense. I mean, I stayed through the Ramones, and that's to this day was the loudest concert I've ever seen in my life, by far. Nobody even compares to the Ramones that I've seen. I've heard Man of War was really loud back in the day, but Ramones, I couldn't. I mean, it was so loud, it sounded just like shh, and I stayed. I don't know why. Maybe there might be a girl or two involved in that, but that's another story. Anyways, so we talked a little bit, a lot around. We talked around the circle tonight. So as always, we've only got 8 minutes left in the show before I'm going to check out of here. Don't forget, in a couple weeks we're going to hopefully have our special guest on with us that you guys will know if you follow guitar channels and stuff. You will know this guy, one of my friends, and spend the money for a Gibson. Yeah, spend the money for a Gibson. I agree. It's a good investment. If you buy a lot of the Epiphones and the Squires and stuff like that, they're great guitars to learn on. They're great for that. They're great entry level into things. But if you're looking for something that you want to hold on to for the rest of your life, maybe pass down to somebody, buy a Gibson, buy a Fender, buy an ESP, buy something that has value and that will hold value for the rest of its life. It's just like gold. Gold and silver. It's something you buy, it's something you hold on to, and then one day you pass it on down or whatever. Yeah, that's just my opinion, but there's nothing wrong. Hey, I bought 2 Schecters this week, by the way. So if anybody's looking for some Schecters, I finally got some Schecters in the shop because I always have people ask me, got any Schecters? Got any Schecters? Got some Schecters this week. So I'm happy to have some Schecters in the shop. So, and by the way, if you didn't know, I do own a guitar shop. It's called Randy's or it's just called The Guitar Attic. I'm Randy. The shop is called The Guitar Attic. We are located in the Daytona Beach area. I'm a used and vintage guitar shop, and have a lot of cool stuff in there. I would send a super chat, but I don't have money. I appreciate it very much. I appreciate just the gesture. I do appreciate that very much. But that's cool that you actually recognize that there are super chats out there and stuff you can send. A lot of people don't even realize that they are there. But anyways, yeah. So we have the shop in Daytona Beach, in the Daytona Beach area, and website's guitarattic.com. And you follow us on Facebook. There's a Facebook page, The Guitar Attic. Follow it. There are two Guitar Attic sites on Facebook. One is for basically music stuff, just talking music, stuff like that. The other one is for the shop. You can check it. When anything new comes in, I do post it on there. You get first crack on it before it even makes it to the website. So if I'm willing to ship it, I'll ship it. A lot of times I won't ship stuff just because I don't like to ship stuff because of FedEx and UPS and USPS. They like to damage stuff, and I hate filing claims. But sometimes the pedals and stuff I'll ship all day long, and we do have hundreds of pedals. So we started the show with Kiss, we had to play some Kiss at the end. So let's see, what else did we talk about? We talked about Metallica. What else did we talk about? We talked about Ozzy. What else did we talk about? Could you show how you bend your notes? I'm completely new to guitar. Bend my notes. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you this. Learn how to bend your notes different ways. Don't just stick with one leg. When you bend your notes, make sure you learn to use vibrato. See, I'm moving the strings. And there's different types of vibrato. We have I call that the Angus Young bend. You know, kind of more frantic. You know, and then if you want the Kurt Hammett, you can go. Or a little sharp, a little flat. No, but you don't want to do that. And you got the John Sykes. You know, or the that's more the Gilmour thing. Although Gilmour, you really got to have his tone to do the, you know, the Gilmour thing. So, and then you got the let's see. Yeah, just move and slide your hand closest to the head of the neck. Yeah, I guess. But yeah, just practice playing a note, then bending a lower up a notch. Yeah. So learn to bend your notes. It's more important to bend notes than to really play a lot of stuff. And I'm bad about that. You come see me, I will blur the lines with a flurry of notes at times. I will just go crazy with stuff and, you know, just doing stuff. Yeah, Ace, and actually Ace has a you know, Ace is like, when I do the kind of the John Sykes, it's very similar to Ace. Ace kind of has that weird bend too. He's like, kind of a slower bend. It's not a real fast bend. It's a slower bend, like John Sykes. Not quite as slow as John, but it is slower. So it's not like I think more my bends are more people that compare my playing when they come out and say the biggest compliments I get from people is you have a you sound like John Sykes, you sound like George Lynch, and you have a little Gilmore in you. And I've had Clapton as well. And I think those are all great compliments when people actually say that to me. I'll take all those any day of the week if someone says that. My brother always said I sounded like Joe Perry. I never saw that, but I never heard that. I couldn't see it, but I never saw that. Heard it, saw it, either way. You know what I'm saying. So, but yeah, kind of steal from everybody. You know, don't get yourself locked into one player. Listen to a lot of players and listen to a lot of different styles. I always tell people that don't get stuck in one genre. Listen to multiple genres. Listen to country. Listen to soul music. Listen to country, whatever. You know, there's country, soul, jazz, all of it. Just kind of listen to all of it, and you can. The more you listen to different styles and stuff, and you really stick to a genre for a while. Don't just kind of play it in your playlist. Graffiti is the best guitar Randy has. You and the graffiti guitar. So, anyways, but if you listen to different genres of music and you want to actually pick up that feel, stick to that genre of music for a couple weeks. And then you'll start kind of getting it wrapped in your head and it'll start rubbing off on you. I honestly believe that's kind of the way you pick up a different feel, is by listening to different things for a while. Not just, I'm going to stick this in my playlist and it's going to be part of my playlist and I'm going to listen to it. Because if you're listening to Lee Ritenour, and he's got one song in there, and then the next song is Jared Nichols, you know, totally different type players. You know, you've got you got a blues rock player and you got a jazz player. I had to go see Randy. I have to go. Okay. Hey, man, thanks for stopping by. We do appreciate you. We're going to actually be out of here. Shows be across the country for me. This is a whole legend. Brad Praise is a great player. Brad is a great player and great guy. Nice, really nice guy to meet in person. So anyways, those are my tips for the night, I guess. Listen to different music. Embed it in your playing by listening to it for a longer period of time. And learn how to bend different notes. Different ways. So, anyways. All right. So that'll be it for tonight. This weekend, I will tell you guys, if you're in Florida, I will be in a couple different locations. Tomorrow night, I'll be at the Hard Rock in Daytona Beach with Psychoustic. Friday night, I will be at Lou's Blues in Melbourne, Indian Atlantic, to be exact. I'll be there Friday night from 9 until 1. Then on Saturday, I will be at Old Town Kissimmee, which is Fun Spot, where it's huge. I'll be there on Saturday night from 7 to 11. So, and then we will be Saturday. We will be at the Space Coast Guitar Show, wandering around, taking pictures and stealing kids and running out with guitars. And no, just kidding. Kiss the girls and make them cry. All right. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it very much. You guys have a great one. And as always, so long from the Sunshine State.